Hello, welcome to the part 2 of report building in Power BI. So we were working on the AdventureWorks dataset where we are done with all our transformations, data modeling and creating all the required measures and columns in DAX. So part 1 we have seen that how we can set up our canvas. So we have created these 4 pages for our required AdventureWorks reporting, and these are the these are the card visuals that we have added respectively in our customer details and on our executive dashboard page. This particular demonstration is about to talk about the trend lines. So let us go ahead and create the line charts, not the trend lines, the line charts. So line chart basically shows us trend over time, that how a particular the progress of a particular thing with respect to time is, whether it is increasing or decreasing and so on. So an important element of a line chart is that on the x-axis, it should be a time field. So whether it's a year, day, month, week, minute, second, so whatever is your time pattern according to the data that you are dealing in, that should come under the x-axis. And over the y-axis, you can note down the growth of anything. Like over here, we are going to talk about the revenue growth, the customer base growth, and so on. So let us go ahead and plot our first line chart. So line chart under your visualization panel, you are going to find over here. So mine is Power BI 2024 version. So here there is a separate visualization panel where I can see all the visuals. For older versions of Power BI, you can find it under the Insert tab. So here I am going to plot line chart like this, and I will fit it according to my purpose. So I'm going to make it appear like this, and of course we can format it as per our requirement later as well. So this is my line chart. Currently it is looking empty. We are going to drag and drop the respective fields in it. So on the x-axis we are going to drag and drop the first day of the week or the start of the week, because we want to see the revenue trend over weeks, the revenue trend over the weeks, the weekly revenue trend. So here I'm going to drag and drop the start of the week. So let us type the word week and we can see what all things are available to us under week. So I'm going to drag and drop the start of the week over here on the x-axis, and on the y-axis I want to check out my revenue, that how the revenue is performing. So total revenue measure I am going to drag and drop over y-axis. So you can see instantly as I drag and drop these fields. So here you can have a closer look that on my x-axis I have start of the week, and on my y-axis I have total revenue. Automatically total revenue is going to break down according to the week pattern. So this is our chart that has come up, and it has come up with all the default settings. And as you take your mouse pointer over this, it is going to show you the tooltip corresponding to each of these points. So let us now go ahead and format this chart. So I'm going to click on the chart and go to the formatting option first. So under the formatting option, I'm going to firstly, switch off the grid lines because I don't need these grid lines as such. So I'm going to put off these vertical and horizontal grid lines. You can keep it like they are just for readability, but through our tooltip, I'm actually able to read the exact data. So I'm just putting it off. Secondary, I am going to click on the zoom slider. So zoom slider enables us zoom in to a particular week. So as you can see that the data that it is showing is according to year, July, January, July, January, July, and so on. So although our report is weekly, but I'm not able to see a particular week directly. So I'm going to add up a x-axis zoom slider. Y-axis zoom slider as such is not needed. So I'm adding a x-axis zoom slider. Now let me also show you the effect of this zoom slider. So as you take it to a particular portion, it is going to zoom into that particular part. Okay, so see 5th January week, then 12th January week, 19th January week. Okay, and as you zoom it out, it is going to take you to the whole yearly kind of forecast. All right, so we are going to put on these things. The other formatting stuff also you can create, like under the general tab, you can put up the title as weekly revenue. Okay, weekly revenue. You can make it as heading 1. You can change the font color as per your requirement. So I'm going to put it as black only. You can center it, you can make it bold, and so on. Okay. Similar kind of things you can do with x-axis and y-axis as well. Under the effects, we are going to keep it as it is. If you want any visual border, you can put it on. Otherwise, you can keep putting it off. And again, the data format as well. So it's in millions. You can also change the data format. As such, over here, it is not required. Okay. So this is the general kind of formatting that I believe I will need. You can also change the formatting of x and y axis from the visual tab over here. So you see, this is the x-axis formatting. I can make it as 10. I can also change the color to blue or something. So I'm not working a lot with colors. Otherwise, I will have to keep it in sync with all the other elements. Similarly, for y-axis also, under the values, you can put it at the value 10 and so on. Okay, so this is the start of the week. So instead of uh, start of the week, you can also call it as week. Okay, so show the title only and this thing. All right, so this is the basic formatting that I have done. Now let us go ahead and add some analytics element into it. So I'm going to add two analytics element into it, which is a trend line and a forecast. So yeah, also I'll also change the color of this line to, yeah, so under the lines, you can change the color of the line. Joint type is 3. And yes, so we are going to make it the same kind of gray that we were using for all our stuff in order to make it look uniform. And similarly, we can also change the tooltip. Okay, so you can also make changes in the tooltip. Go into general, and over there under the tooltips, you can change the text and the colors, the background color to appear as black, so that when the tooltip appears, it appears in the same way as our other elements. Yeah, so you see here the tooltip is appearing similar to how it appeared for our remaining elements. Yes, so you can work around with the colors to make it properly visible. Yes. Yeah, so I'm just adjusting the transparency value to make it more readable. Okay. So yes, so these are the two things more that we need before we go ahead and check out the analytics. Now to add analytics in this graph, there is one more section. Okay, so under the visualization panel, corresponding to any visual, there are three sections. The visual section, the formatting section, and the analytics section. Analytics section is this one with a magnifying glass. So under the normal visual section, we have the options to add various elements. Under formatting section, we have the formatting options, and under analytics section, we have the analytics related elements. Okay, so remember that we have to click on the visual, then only the respective elements can be shown. So here I want to add a trend line. So as you click on trend line, if you put it on, you can see this is the trend line. So above this trend line, some weeks are performing above, and you know, from July 2020 mostly till July 2021, everything went beyond, you know, below the trend line, and then again it went up. Okay. So this is the trend line. You can also do the settings of trend line to make it appear a little bit less darker. So you can set up the transparency value so that the trend line is not overwhelming over the graph. So although it is visible, but it is not overwhelming. Similarly, we can add a forecast. So I have the data till January 2022, but I need the forecast for next 10 weeks. So there is a portion of forecast. If you turn it on, you can see this is the forecast. Based on the last value, this is the forecast that, in this range, your upcoming data could fall or upcoming revenue could fall. Okay. But over here, when you go to the forecast portion, it shows you that, how the forecast should be made, what should be the forecast length. So by length, it means, whatever, if it is in years, it will talk about next 10 years. If it is in weeks, it will talk about next 10 weeks trend. So it's better to keep it points only, because it takes care of all the kinds of units. Otherwise, you can make it as weeks, minutes, seconds, and all as well. Okay. So 10 is okay for me. And then it shows me that do you want to ignore any portion. So sometimes it happens that, the few of the latest trends could not be in line with how the remaining portion is working. Okay, so over here also you can observe that all the remaining things were actually above trend line, and suddenly my last week dropped below the trend line, and this is causing unnecessary disturbance in all my patterns. So although for the whole year my pattern or my revenue trend was above the trend line, but suddenly because of 1 week, because of the last entry, it is going below. So let us ignore this and let us observe that what changes it does. So I'm going to make it 1, and as I make it 1 and apply, so you will see that this is now my new trend. Okay, so this again you can do, not necessary to ignore or not ignore, but you understand your domain better, so you know that if there has been any abrupt thing or any outliers out there, so you can ignore those. Okay, but it is going to ignore it in serial. Also there is a confidence interval, so how much confident you are and over this. So maybe if I'm only 75% confident, so it is going to change my trend over this, that okay, it is going to fall only in this range. Okay, so by default it could be 95% confident, and then you can apply your data. Yeah, okay, can be 95% confident, apply it, and so on. Okay, so this is the forecast. Also you can change the forecast color, because it is also appearing too dominant to me. So I can also change its transparency level, the forecast confidence line, forecast line, and all. I can change its transparency to appear in a bit lighter color. Okay, confidence shadow, so I can make it to appear in a bit lighter color. Okay, 100%. Yeah. Okay, so this is the graph of weekly revenue that we have created. Yeah, so you can also try out the weekly customer base kind of graph, where we are going to have a look that how the customer base has been growing across various weeks. So the simplest thing is simply copy paste this graph and change the total revenue field to total customers. So it is going to create the graph for you. So this will be the smart work to do. But because you are a beginner, please try to create it from scratch. Okay. So you again plot a line graph, drag and drop both the fields, do the same formatting, add the trend line and add the forecast field. Okay. For me, I will simply copy it using Control C and paste it over here using my Control V, and here could be my graph. I can resize it, and this is how it can appear. Okay, and here instead of total revenue, I will put up total customers. Okay, so this is the total customer. I am going to drag and drop it here, total customers, and also under the general setting I will change the title as customer base, weekly customer base. All right, so this is my line graph over here. All right, yeah, you can also go to forecast and have a look. So the forecast is turned off, so you can have the forecast, and whatever field you want to ignore, you can ignore that and apply. Okay, so this will be our forecast. All right, so this is the customer graph that we have added. Let us put it at a proper place somewhere here. Okay, you can always resize the elements as per your visual requirements. So I think there are two values which are outliers here. So under the forecast, I'm going to ignore the last two values. Okay, try to ignore last 2-3 values and have a look at the forecast. Okay, yeah, so that's it with the line charts, the trend line and the forecast.